Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Superheroes, Movies, and Superhero Movies. I'm Justin Speck.
I'm John Pelzel.
Today we're going to talk about The Avengers. Released in 2012, I guess it's technically Marvel's The Avengers, but I'm just going to call it The Avengers. Released in 2012, directed by Joss Whedon, written by Joss Whedon from a story by Zach Penn and Joss Whedon, and starring Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Mark Ruffalo, Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, Jeremy Renner, Tom Hiddleston, and Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. Before we talk about the Avengers, however, this past week, there have been quite a few movie trailers that have been released that we are kind of excited to talk about.
Yeah, I think this episode might be extra long because of this, because I don't think this section's going to be done very quickly.
Well, yeah, I don't know, so I guess we'll find out. Which one do you want to talk about first, John? Which one was released? Star Wars was technically released first, officially, correct?
Well, if you're including... Wasn't Jurassic Park first?
Oh, maybe. It doesn't matter. Let's talk about Star Wars.
Okay.
Here's what I have to say about Jurassic Park. I watched it once.
Yeah, me too.
I actually didn't really want to watch it, to be honest with you, because, I've seen enough of the other previews. I was like, I'm going to go see the movie. I don't really need to see any more. But I gave in, and I watched it anyway, and I kind of almost wish I hadn't.
Yeah, I'm... It seems like everything I see, I get less and less excited about it.
Yeah. I'm still going to go see it, and I hope it's good, but I don't know. I just don't think it's going to be the movie that I was kind of hoping it would be.
But I think that's also unfair, because I don't think anything will ever...
Right,
especially with it being Jurassic Park.
Right.
It's just impossible to beat the original.
Right.
Or to even... And you try not to compare it, but you also have to include...
You can't help it.
Does this have the magic that the original had?
Right.
And if it doesn't have that, it's a fail. And...
Right, but and I understand, though, you don't want to just recreate the original movie. Nobody would want that.
Right.
So you have to do something new and everything. So, like I said, I'm still going to go see it. I hope it's good. I hope I enjoy it. But
I'll give them, I'm glad that they're at the park. I'm glad they're doing that and that they're not trying something else crazy.
Right.
Because the third one wasn't really on... It wasn't at the park, right? No, it was. It was.
Technically, the third one takes place on the same island that the first one
Right. The second one was not the same island, right?
Correct.
Okay. But yeah, in the third one, it's abandoned.
Right.
It was kind of a horror movie a little bit.
Yeah.
Sci-fi thriller.
I'm in the minority kind of group that actually enjoys part 2. I don't think it has the same magic like you said as part 1, but I think it's actually it's a really fun monster movie, and so I actually can watch The Lost World and really enjoy it. But part 3, it's hard to watch part 3. I really don't enjoy that one at all.
I actually think I like part 3 better than 2.
Well, that's a shame.
I could be wrong.
Because part 3 is awful.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I don't even know. Do you think we'll ever even do a podcast on those?
We'll probably. We've done part 1 twice almost now because we did the commentary.
True.
And I do want to talk about The Lost World, and I feel like just the completist in me, I think, is going to want to talk about the third one as well, especially if we're going to eventually talk about Jurassic World. So, yeah. I've got the third one. I bought the...
That's true.
Or I got it for Christmas one year, the trilogy on Blu-ray, so I own the third one. So I've got it, available to watch, but...
Nice.
But
all right, well then we've got... Do you want to talk about Star Wars? We've got... Yeah, because that one was the next one.
Star Wars...
When did Fantastic Four come?
It was after the Batman vs Superman trailer.
Was it?
It was like 2 or 3 days after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Star Wars. Yeah, Star Wars had its Star Wars celebration in Anaheim, and
did you watch that?
Did you?
I did. Yes.
Yeah, I tried to. I had to go somewhere that day, so I had to leave. But I pulled it up on my phone. I've got like the Disney app or whatever on my phone, and they had the live stream on there, and I saw J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy come out, and they were talking about it and stuff, and I was really hoping they would just get to the trailer, but it took them a while They were just talking about the movie and whatnot. So I actually didn't get to see the trailer until I came back from whatever I was doing. But holy cow, that trailer!
It's insane.
Was amazing. It tells you nothing. And honestly, there's I read an article that had a bunch of screen caps, and it said the title of the article was like, "Let's overanalyze the trailer," And they knew, the person who ever wrote that article knew like all these characters' names. And so, and I don't know. I was impressed that they've done, I guess, their research and known, like, they know who, like, this actor is playing this character, so they knew the character of the girl that's like running in the trailer and everything is what?
It's Ray.
Okay, so like, see, I didn't know that until I read this article, and I think that's just because I don't want to read too much about the movie. I want to go into it fairly fresh, and so I'm kind of. It's been nice that the first trailer showed you absolutely nothing, but just enough to get you kind of excited, and this one shows you nothing still, but even more to get you excited, and
right.
And I can't wait. And I think, how I like to avoid trailers. I think every Star Wars trailer that comes out from here on out, I'm just going to avoid because I've seen enough. I'm super excited about it. I want to see the movie. I don't need to see anything else.
Yeah, I know what you mean. However, the trailer hasn't come out yet.
Right, because this is still technically a teaser.
This is teaser number 2.
Right.
And man, why are they torturing us? Why do we need 2 teasers?
Because it's Star Wars, and they don't need a trailer. I mean, I'm sure they will put out one more trailer or a trailer before the movie comes out.
3 trailers.
See, that's too. Oh, you mean like 2 teasers and 3 trailers?
Yes.
So 5 total. See, that's too much. You don't need. I
agree. Hopefully we'll get 2. I am probably going to watch the first one. I do not want to see anything after that.
Yeah.
And in fact, yeah, I agree. Part of me is like almost wants to say I don't even want to see the trailer.
I really don't. I really think it'll be more fun if I go in not knowing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing who anybody is or, why the dude from Attack the Block is always freaked out in every shot he's in. He's the stormtrooper guy.
Right. His name's Finn.
Finn. Okay. Why Finn looks like he's like hyperventilating in every shot they've released with him in it. He's like, and so I don't know what's going on there, but I like it. And then it's so awesome that they added in the very end of that trailer where you hear Han say, "Chewie, we're home," and that just you're like, well, you can have my money.
I did like that, but part of me was scared to see that shot and hear it. Part of me was like, please don't be Indiana Jones 4.
Right. Yeah.
I think we're safe from what I've seen, but let's... Anyway. Yeah, Star Wars was amazing.
I was really disappointed with myself that I did not recognize... This is how long it's been since I've seen Return of the Jedi. I did not recognize that VO was dialogue from Return of the Jedi.
Uh-huh.
Luke Skywalker's VO,
Right.
Where he says, "The Force is strong in my family, my father has it," all that.
How?
It just didn't click, I guess. And so at first I was like, whoa, he said my father has it, not my father had it.
Uh-huh.
And so I was like, what's going on? And then I realized it was from Return of the Jedi, and I was like, oh, that, of course. But, however, I read an article, actually a friend showed me an article, that says that Mark Hamill did record that VO for the trailer.
Really?
And I've listened to it, and I've watched the clip from Return of the Jedi where he's giving the speech to Leia, and to me they sound exactly the same.
Uh-huh.
So if he did re-record it, he did a great job of doing it exactly how he did it 30 years ago.
To me, it sounds like there is a slight difference.
Right.
I just thought maybe they had to take... Because it sounds like young Mark Hamill.
Right. Yeah, me too.
So I was thinking maybe they had a recording that they just didn't use. And just
like an alternate take or something. Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't really delved into
unless
that.
Mark Hamill's just messing with people. Because according to the article, he re-recorded it and he kept messing up because he kept saying my father had it, and they kept having to re-record it to say my father has it. But like I said, unless Mark Hamill's just thrown out misinformation.
He is a voice actor. Maybe he was doing a younger Luke sound.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Who knows?
So I'm very curious as to, unless they just didn't have clean audio from Return of the Jedi, from like the archives or anything like that, I'm very curious as to why they would have him re-record that voiceover.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, well, it's not related to that. Yes, I think the purpose of the... What are you saying? They just throw in the regular audio?
Right, like if they didn't... I could understand, because if they took it from the movie, it has music.
So you're wondering if the line is actually uttered in the movie?
Yes. Well, no, I'm not. I don't think it's going to be in The Force Awakens. I'm just wondering why they chose to re-record it if they did, rather than just sample it from Return of the Jedi.
Right.
Unless they couldn't get clean audio, like if they didn't have the original audio track, and they would have had to like actually lift it from the finished film, which has music in the background and everything. But you'd think they would have the audio, whatever.
Do you want me to mention to you some of my
theories? Sure.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. But for anybody who doesn't want to hear it, just fast forward.
Right. Well, I mean, anyway. So I'm hoping. Did I mention this to you? I think I did, about Darth Vader.
Yes, you did. And I don't think you think he's going to be in the film. I don't think he's going to be in the film.
I'm not saying I think he's going to be. I'm saying I'm rooting for him to be.
You want him to be in the film?
Yes. And let me clarify. By Darth Vader, I do not mean Anakin Skywalker. And I find it interesting that the mask was shown in the teaser.
Uh-huh.
It's mangled.
The burned mask,
It's burned. And I would find it very interesting if the Empire were to take someone else, dress them up as Darth Vader. And first of all, from an audience perspective, people that would not be expecting this, and it would still happen for me, even still, is to have a shot inside, the interior of an Emperor spaceship or something, and just see those boots coming around a corner, and then it pans up, you see the cape, and Darth Vader is walking down the hallway in The Force Awakens. What is going on here? Granted, like I was saying, it'd be someone else. Luke would know that his dad was dead. Or they could even go further. Seeing this mask made me wonder if they could maybe use the mask the way it is and be like, look, Darth Vader doesn't die. He's still walking.
That'd be weird.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. Would your new Darth Vader have a Jedi in the suit? You would kind of need one, right? Because you got to do the Force chokehold and all that stuff.
It looks like the Sith are coming back.
Yeah.
So yeah, you would. There's someone in power,
right? You've
got the shot where the stormtroopers, they turn and they're on. It looks like they're on the planet Hoth, whether they are or not. But
it's very white.
I'm assuming that's probably a shot of the arrival of someone very important, and they're turning to see the ship coming into port.
Well, there's also somebody standing on a platform behind them.
Right.
Like at a podium type thing.
I think they are the, arrival party. And so, I don't know. Anyway, regardless, there's someone in power, and the Sith are coming back. At least that's what it appears to be. Mm-hmm. You've got this dark figure with the hilted lightsaber that you assume is the person that they show the face under the hood. The guy with, it looks like he's, what is it, goggles he's got on or something?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about.
In the first teaser or this teaser?
This is this teaser.
Guy with goggles on. I don't recall that image.
It's the Sith guy that's using the Force in that camp. He's got all the stormtroopers.
Yeah, I remember that guy, yeah. But I don't think he has goggles on.
But he's got some kind of
I mean, it doesn't matter, but...
Yeah.
But I know who you're talking about. He's got like a mask on and everything.
Yeah, there's something over his eyes.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's I'm excited about that. I'm hoping that by the end of all this, we'll see a Sith or uprising of the Sith, and have like a Sith Jedi battle where the Jedi have come back, and just because we didn't get that in the prequels, it was the Clone Wars. I'd love to see a Sith Jedi battle with lightsaber against lightsaber.
Well, I think there's got to be. There's gonna have to be.
I'm talking like hordes,
like a massive one.
Yes, exactly.
Well, there's not that many Jedi around anymore.
No, well, but this has been 30 years. We don't know what's been going on. Has Luke been gathering Jedi? Have they been growing in number again? We have no idea.
That's true. We don't. So that shot where you see R2-D2 and then you see a figure put a robotic hand on R2-D2. Do you think that's Luke?
I think it's probably Luke. He says the line, "I have it," as that shot's getting ready to fade. Luke has his hand cut off.
I mean, it's been 30 years, like you said.
Right.
It's been worn off. He doesn't have the skin over the hand anymore.
It's still mechanical. Who else is going to have a mechanical hand touching R2-D2?
Wearing robes like that.
Right. It's. I mean, it could not be Luke, but I'm 90% sure it's Luke.
Yeah.
Now, who do you think's getting handed the lightsaber?
I think that's Princess, who I think now is Queen Leia.
That's what I think.
Because
some people disagree with me because they say the hands look too young.
Maybe. I mean, maybe it's not. But again, it's the whole that we see that shot when he says, "My sister has it." So
right, exactly.
And it is a female hand.
Now, granted, this is J.J. Abrams is the thing.
Right. And he does like to
yes,
give you a little misinformation. But I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming it's her. You just can't. You just have really no way of knowing because it's, we have. Yeah, I don't know. But the lightsaber that she's getting handed to, or being handed, it looks a lot like Luke's lightsaber / Anakin's lightsaber that was given to him by Obi-Wan. So,
yeah, no, I agree. I think it is, and
which I really wonder. I hope that Luke Skywalker doesn't die.
I don't think that's what it is.
She's being given the lightsaber.
That I'm fairly certain. I could tell you why that's not why someone has the lightsaber.
Okay, well, don't tell me. But if you, no, yeah, okay. So, just overall, some spectacular imagery in that trailer. The opening shot when you see that,
amazing.
I unfortunately saw the image before I actually watched the trailer because I clicked on. I was on some movie news website and I clicked on the link, and it was like Star Wars trailer, and I scrolled down to get to the trailer, and I scrolled a little too far, and the very first thing I saw was that downed starship on the planet, and I think my jaw dropped. I was like, "That looks so cool."
Are you ready for this?
Yeah,
this is how bad I am, and because we've watched movies together where I have to ask you what's going on.
Right.
I did not even notice the Star
You didn't
Destroyer
even see the starship
in the background. I was watching the speeder bike.
Oh my!
Or it's not a speeder bike.
The moving vehicle,
the hovercraft.
Did you notice the X-wing in the foreground?
I did notice the X-wing.
Okay, yes. Okay. You're like, that's a weird shaped mountain in the background.
Yeah. Second time though, I saw it and I was like, "Oh my god!"
That's hilarious. That's awesome. And then we get a shot of it again later on when you see the Millennium Falcon. Like they fly into the back of the downed Star Destroyer. So, pretty amazing.
I am more hyped for this movie, I think, than I've ever been hyped for any movie in my life.
Well, funny you should mention that, and I almost hate to admit this, but I think I'm more hyped for the next trailer we're going to talk about, which is Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. And I think the reason I'm more hyped is because I'm just such a huge
For those
Superman
of you who can't
Batman
see me,
fan.
I am currently shaking my head.
He's shaking his head furiously at me.
Go ahead, though.
I apparently could not be more wrong about that statement. I was really excited about the trailer. The movie's still over a year out, and I couldn't help myself, but I had to watch the pirated version first. But I was actually really happy that Zack Snyder went ahead and posted the, regular HD version like the next day. And very curious about some of the images we've seen in this trailer. And I have a couple of theories. Well, not theories really, but I have a couple of questions perhaps about the trailer. Seeing Ben Affleck in the suit, even if it's just for a moment. I'm talking about the non-armored suit. He kind of comes out of the shadows there for that whatever he's like. It looks like some sort of wreckage or burned building or something. But just that quick glimpse of him in the suit, I just thought looked amazing.
Yes.
And
that's an understatement.
Yeah.
When I saw the image of him, I think I felt joy explode out of my body.
Interesting. There's obviously a lot of Dark Knight Returns stuff going on in this film. You've got the armored suit, obviously, at the end of the trailer. You've got, which I didn't know. This I didn't notice the first time I watched it. Actually, I didn't notice it the first couple of times I watched it. But when you see that shot of Batman standing on the top of the building or whatever, it's like from the back. It looks like an antenna that's in front of him, but it's actually, if you look at it, it's a rifle with a scope. And so in Dark Knight Returns, he uses that rifle to shoot a tightrope from one building to the other, and he runs across the tightrope to get to the other building. So I think we're going to see something like that in Dark Knight Returns. Otherwise, I don't see any other reason for Batman to have a rifle other than that reason, really.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about the voice?
Well, that's one of my questions, because we all assume that it's Batman, and I could see that it could be Batman.
Ooh,
in the armored suit.
I didn't even think of that.
That it was Batman, or that it could maybe not be Batman.
I didn't even think about it not being Batman.
Well, here's one of my questions. If it is Batman in the armored suit, I have no problem with it. My thing is, it doesn't really sound like Ben Affleck, and granted, it's got a lot of effects on it, so it's hard to tell. But and it makes sense if it's Batman, because he's the one that would be asking Superman, "Do you bleed?" You will. But one of the cast members in this film is going to play Cyborg in Justice League, who would probably have a voice like that. And so there's a part of me that wonders if perhaps it's the Cyborg character, and they just used it for that scene because it makes so much sense. And out of context, within the context of the movie, it's in a completely other scene. He might not even be talking to he might not be talking to Superman.
I personally, I think it's Batman.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily that shot as he's coming down.
Right.
And I'm hoping it's Batman because I really like it.
Yeah. I don't mind. Some people really hate it, and I don't mind it at all. It's gonna be a little weird if that's his voice
the whole time.
If he's not in the armored suit.
Right. I agree.
And I really don't know why, being in the armored suit, his voice would sound like that. But that's the only time it would make sense to me, is in the armored suit, because then it kind of has an Iron Man-ish feel to it.
Right.
But I'm not 100% certain that it is Batman.
Interesting.
There's a couple other little Easter eggs in there. There's a Riddler question mark in that one shot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really curious about the guys who kneel before Superman. They have Superman symbols.
Very weird.
Yeah, they have Superman symbols on their shoulders.
Right.
On their
and they've got
uniform.
And they're army-esque.
Yeah, and they're wearing old style helmets too, like World War II helmets or something. So I'm very curious as to what's going on there. Obviously, in the last movie, we had a dream sequence, remember, with Zod and Superman in the black suit, and he goes into the skulls and stuff. So this could be some sort of weird dream sequence or something, but I am really curious as to what's going on there. Right. I'm also curious as to why the very first shot we see of Superman, he's surrounded by people, and half of them have makeup on to make their faces look like skulls. And I've heard it's something. Maybe there's something with the Day of the Dead festival type thing. Like there might be something like that going on, but I'm curious about that. I wonder what's going on there. What do you think of the statue? That whole the first half of the trailer is voiceover, which by the way I think is going to be TV interviews, just like Dark Knight Returns. Again, throughout that whole comic book, it constantly cuts to people being interviewed for various news programs on television.
Uh-huh.
And so I don't think they're going to necessarily do it throughout the whole movie, but I think I could see that movie opening up with various news productions and interviews and stuff like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right. Very Dark Knight Returns-ish. But the statue...
Right, that's what I was going to say.
I read some... people are back and forth on it seems, online. A lot of people love it, like I'm one of them, and a lot of people don't like it.
I like the statue.
And I meant the trailer overall. I think they felt that it has a very video gamey feel to it. I guess it doesn't look real enough to them, but to me, I thought it...
First of all, it's coming out in a year.
Right. They're still doing effects work and everything.
Yes.
Sure.
I remember Green Lantern looked, when they first started showing stuff with that, it did not look as good as it did. And that movie still needed a little work later.
Right.
But compared to what they were showing at first, it improved greatly. I really liked the trailer as well. It's when I was shaking my head no.
Yeah.
I can't understand how you can put this about Star Wars, but I do see it's close to Star Wars for me.
Yeah,
this is a big one too.
Yeah,
I am more excited about Batman vs Superman than I am Age of Ultron.
Yeah, me too, actually. And although I would say, because we rewatched Avengers for this episode, it reminded me of how much I enjoyed this film, and so I am now. More excited. For whatever reason, I haven't really been that excited for Age of Ultron, and I don't know why that is. I watched the first trailer, thought it was great. I think I watched the second trailer, thought it was great, but I just haven't really. The excitement level hasn't been there for me this year for some reason. But now, having watched the first film again, I am really looking forward to seeing it next week.
Mm-hmm.
Back to Batman vs Superman. This is an example though where I could go and not watch any other trailers, but the movie doesn't come out till next March, and I know whenever they put out another trailer, which is probably going to be several months from now, if not 6 months from now, I'm gonna have to watch it. But I think after that trailer, if they put out any more, I'm gonna try to avoid them.
This was a teaser.
This was a teaser, yes.
Yeah. So
we still haven't seen. Wonder Woman's in the movie. We haven't seen anything with her yet. Aquaman's in the movie. We haven't seen any, and they might not reveal Aquaman in the trailer.
Well, there's some people were wondering if that guy that's standing with his hand up,
was Aquaman.
Right.
Yeah, I'm really curious about that shot. If it is Aquaman, he's not wearing what we saw in the image that was released of him. I don't think that guy has, because you can kind of see the side of his face, and I don't think he has a beard. But then again, I don't know. It could be, but I have no idea.
Thought he had a cloak on.
He did. It looked like kind of a cloak type clothing. So I really am very curious as to who that is.
Because, who wears a cloak?
I don't know. Maybe it's a monk or something.
It's not Star Wars. Well, true. Okay. We'll go with that.
I have no idea. So, yeah, I'm very, very excited about that. I've watched that trailer about 10, 15 times now, probably,
Mm-hmm.
I've
seen it probably about 4 or 5.
I watch it a lot.
I try not to overwatch teasers and trailers either.
Yeah.
So, but 4 or 5 is a lot for me.
I tend to overwatch them. I remember when The Dark Knight came out when the first trailer came out, the first one that showed the Joker. I watched that thing every day until that movie came out. Pretty much, I could not get enough of that trailer. But anyway, so I'm very excited about Batman.
I want to talk again about the Batman suit.
Yeah.
They picked short ears, didn't they?
Yeah.
Kind of wish... I wanted long ones.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping, and it doesn't look like it going back and rewatching it, that the suit has a... Even if it can even be subtle, but I want it to have a blue tint.
Yeah, I don't think it does.
I don't think it does either.
But it is the first time we've seen, because I think other than the Adam West version,
it's great.
Every I was gonna say every big screen version of Batman so far has been all black,
right? Except
for the crappy George Clooney silver and like gold or silver and dark bluish kind of color. But so this is the first time we've gotten the two colors, the black and gray, even if it's not quite blue and gray.
Being that it's going to be that they are probably doing Frank Miller, it's probably black.
Yeah. Which is weird because Kevin Smith, saw it months ago and said it was blue and gray, but maybe there's more than one suit.
He didn't say colors.
He said it was blue and gray.
Did he really?
Yeah. Because when this image was released, people were all like, it's black. And he was like, guys, that's a black and white image. He's like, what I saw was blue and gray. Huh. So unless there's multiple Batman costumes throughout the film, aside from the armor,
there's two.
Right. Aside from the armor,
right? Is he going to have shark?
I think
repellent?
It's just going to be black and gray. Say what? Shark repellent? Yeah, he always has shark repellent on his belt.
I am going to say this too. I understand it's Frank Miller, so the symbol and everything. But I'm hoping one day we get someone with enough guts to make it look good and put the yellow Batman symbol back on the costume.
I know. I've actually kind of missed the yellow symbol.
Yeah.
I think it looked really cool back, especially in the Michael Keaton movies. And you watch Batman the animated series; he's got the yellow symbol. I do. I miss the yellow symbol. I think we grew up on the yellow symbol, and they've moved away from it. And I would
understandably,
like someone to put it back.
because
understandably, yeah.
Nolan was trying to get away from the past, memory, and now they're trying to maintain the quality of the Nolan film. So they're like, well, let's stick with, and I don't know, it might not sometimes be the best choice to put on the yellow symbol. I would like to see them do it to where it looks awesome.
Good. Yeah.
With the quality that they put into this to this outfit, it's so good. I think it's actually my favorite Batman suit.
And it's a little early for me to say so, but I really, really like it. I think it looks really, really cool. And I'm really excited to see more of Affleck in the Batman suit in motion. So. And I originally, when they announced that they were doing Batman vs. Superman, and they especially when Zack Snyder, the way he announced it, he read a line from The Dark Knight Returns. I remember thinking, I was like, I really hope they don't do the armored suit, because I feel like that's just not going to translate well to film. And now that I'm seeing it on camera or on screen, I take it back. I think it's actually going to be kind of cool. And hopefully that fight scene is pretty neat,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be huge. Honestly, if the next trailer that comes out, gets people more hyped, I think that movie could be huge. But we'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
Snyder has not let me down, except... I haven't seen Sucker Punch because I didn't want to.
Well, then he hasn't let you down.
Nice.
I think Zack Snyder has a decent track record. Loved 300 when it came out.
Oh yeah.
Loved Watchmen when it came out.
Watchmen was great.
Man of Steel's good.
Yep. I really like Man of Steel. Like like it. It's one of my it's on the higher portion of my favorite superhero movies.
Yeah. I still love it.
Oh, go
ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, speaking of superhero movies, you want to talk about the Avengers?
Well, there's one more trailer I would like to discuss.
Oh, yes,
I know we've spent quite a bit of time here. But a few days after Batman vs. Superman and Star Wars, it was the full trailer was released for Fantastic Four, Josh Trank's Fantastic Four, which is coming out in August. The initial teaser trailer obviously showed us a more dark version of Fantastic Four. It was definitely much different than the Tim Story directed films we got beforehand with Chris Evans and all that, and Jessica Alba. And so I got pretty excited. I thought it looked pretty good. we've had this conversation before about Miles Teller and Kate Mara and Michael B. Jordan being too young.
Yeah,
and
to
that's
me, it's
still
almost like first class.
Yeah, it does
Fantastic
feel a
Four
little
first
that way.
class.
Mm-hmm.
It's-
But I was excited about it. I was like, this is gonna be. I think this could be really good, and I think they're not showing us a good bit. Well, now that the trailers come out, I feel like I'm a little less excited. There's a humor thrown into it, which was kind of cool, but overall, I wasn't. I don't know. I'm a little nervous about this film. I hope it's good.
I've got a slight nervousness about it too. I'm still pretty much on the fence about it.
Yeah.
I will say when we did the review for Fantastic Four from 2005. Anyway,
I think so.
I was talking about how good the suit looked and how I'm glad they didn't do CGI. Well, the CGI on this thing looks really good.
Uh-huh.
I was pretty impressed with what I saw.
Yeah, and I like I want to see more of the Thing in action. His face looks a little different than
And
what
I like
we're
how
kinda
big
used
he
to.
is.
He's very big. He seems very top heavy, which is a little strange.
Yeah.
But I also like that it's not he's not this is going to be hard to describe. He's got like jagged edges. It's like it's as if you were just putting rocks together. So some rocks kind of stick out and others it's not just like a smooth kind of surface.
Right.
It's it looks like somebody carved him out of rock or something. So I do like that. That's kind of cool. I'm curious to see a little bit more of Mr. Fantastic in action, because that has never really looked good on screen, I don't think. Even in the previous movies, it's always kind of looked a little cartoony.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a cartoony power, honestly, being able to like stretch yourself like that. And so I'm curious to see how
that's a good question. It's like if you saw, it seems like we brought this up before. If you saw someone stretching, would you actually believe it or be like, that's effects?
And be like, that looks fake.
Yeah.
Even though you saw it like in real life, that looks fake.
Yeah.
I think Johnny Storm looks really cool, and we haven't really gotten to see a whole lot of Invisible Woman's powers. Although I think that shows them kind of flying in the trailer, like both of them, which is interesting. So I don't know. I will go see this movie as well, obviously, because I love superhero movies, and I always want to give them a chance. And I hope that I really enjoy it, but as it stands right now, my excitement level for it went down a little bit after this trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't really tell you why. It's just I wasn't, even though we got a glimpse of it, I wasn't totally sure I liked the design of Doctor Doom.
Oh, yeah. Exactly. I think I'm leaning to... I'll say this. If that had been brought to me as the concept art, I would have passed it on.
Right.
I would not have picked it. So,
curious about that. But the Thing looks cool. I think Johnny Storm's going to look cool. So, it looks very dark. And I don't think every comic book movie needs to be dark and gritty. And I just feel like it feels like it seems like the big action set piece from the trailer takes place like on another planet or something. And so I don't know. I'm just very curious. I wonder if it's Latveria or something. But I don't know. I've got some questions about it and I'm nervous about it. But I will definitely go see it. So that's our take on those 3 trailers. You want to say anything else about Fantastic Four?
You mean 4 trailers? You forgot about Jurassic Park.
Well, that's true. We glossed over Jurassic Park.
We did. No, I don't have anything else to say about Fantastic Four.
All right. Well, let us know what you thought about those trailers, because we obviously had our opinions on them. But now let's jump into the Avengers from 2012. Well, I'll just tell you. I'll start off. I usually ask you if you saw it in the theater, and this movie's only a couple years old, so I definitely saw this in the theater. And I was incredibly excited about this film. And I actually did a Marvel movie marathon. They did it at the AMC Theater out here. And I'm actually disappointed because they just did one for Age of Ultron down in Hollywood. It was 28 hours. It was 28 hours of Marvel movies, and they showed you Phase 1 and Phase 2. So it was... I don't know how you stay awake for all that, but I figured you could nap during like Iron Man 2, or maybe you could nap during one of the movies you've seen a dozen times or something, you know. No, but anyway, so this was 2012. They started at like 10 in the morning or something. We stood in line for an hour to get in. We bought our tickets early, obviously, but we wanted to get good seats. There were no reserved seats, so we got in line at like 8 in the morning or 8:30 in the morning, and they let us into the theater. And it was the biggest theater in the building, I think. So we got decent seats. And they started Iron Man 1 at 10 in the morning, and they all had a little video introduction with Coulson. Coulson came out and was presenting it as if we were like S.H.I.E.L.D. recruits, you know?
Uh-huh.
And so he was like, here's case file number 1, Tony Stark. And so then you watch Iron Man. And then after that movie ended, you got like a little, probably 15-minute break. And then they started Incredible Hulk. Coulson comes back out again, you know, tells you about Dr. Bruce Banner. And then you watch The Incredible Hulk. A little break after that, and then you saw Iron Man 2. And of course, Coulson comes out again, talks about it. He's like, "Man, I guess you need to see a little more of Tony Stark." I don't know. I don't remember how he did it. But after that, there was like an hour break for like lunch if you wanted to go get lunch. And that was one of the cool things. I thought that they were going to make you stay in the theater and have to get concessions all day long.
Uh-huh.
But they gave you lanyards, and so you were able to leave the theater and come back if you wanted to. And so there was like a Chipotle down there and stuff. And so
nice.
I ended up, just because I was lazy, I just got a pizza at the theater, so I never actually left. But I saw some people doing it. And then, you know, you had an hour to kill, so it didn't really matter. So after that, they showed Thor, and then Captain America, and then that ended right around 11-something, and so at midnight they showed Avengers. And it was probably the best theater-going experience I've ever had. Because everybody there... everybody there is like a superhero kind of nerd. Everybody there really loves these movies, otherwise they wouldn't sit through all 6 of them, you know? And so the energy from the crowd was, we were all super excited. We all really wanted this movie to be good. Nobody was talking. That was kind of the nice thing, you know? And the funny parts were just like that much funnier, getting to see it with like this giant crowd where everybody was laughing at all the jokes. Like, I laughed so much throughout this whole film. Like, I thought it was so funny. And it's weird how an audience really can, seeing it with a big audience who's on the same, like, energy wavelength or whatever as you, can affect that. Because I remember, it was like 2 or 3 days later, my dad was in town, and I went, and I took him to go see the Avengers. And there was only like 10 or 15 people in the theater, because it was like during the day. And he laughed at the funny parts, but not nearly as hard as I laughed at him when I saw it with the giant group of people. And so I thought I was like, oh, I really wish my dad could have been there when we saw it for the marathon, because he would have gotten like, I mean, my dad really liked the movie, but he would have enjoyed it like so much more.
Yeah.
So that was awesome. And I was actually really disappointed that they didn't, I found out about the 28-hour marathon a little too late. And I don't know if I could have afforded it anyway. I have no idea how much it cost. But I was hoping they would do at least a phase 2 marathon, you know, and do Iron Man 3, Captain America 2, Thor 2, Guardians, and then Avengers, Age of Ultron, but no such luck. Some AMC theaters, I think, are showing Avengers 1 and then Avengers 2 at midnight on the 30th, but whatever.
I did not see it in the theater.
Okay.
You know this.
Did I watch it with you for the first time?
Yes.
I did.
You brought it over to my house. You were visiting. I loved it. Mm-hmm. I had seen all of the other ones. None of them I had seen in theater, though. I saw Thor. You know, since I've had kids, I've got 4 kids. For those of you that don't know. And yeah, anymore? I don't get to go to the theater. I am going to see Age of Ultron in the theater.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a podcast on that.
Sure.
That's the next one. And of course, I'm going to see Star Wars in theater. Batman vs Superman.
Sure.
So anyway, yeah, I did not have a theater going experience like you had, which is unfortunate because I remember the days when I did get to go do those
midnight showings, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it really did affect things. I think the best movie going experience I've had was probably Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
With Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
And so anyway.
You saw it with Tobey Maguire.
I did.
No, I remember. Yeah, I remember. I was there for that. We talked about it when we did the Spider-Man 2 podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really think, like, you know, I've had a lot of bad movie theater experiences too, where people are talking. Like, I remember during our Captain America episode when that girl asked if it was a true story. Like, that was terrible. That crowd just was awful and talking the whole time and everything. And so I've had experiences like that, which really suck. But when everybody's on the same page and everybody's really there and excited about the film and not talking and enjoying the movie, it can really make. It's like your enjoyment of the movie can be like even more, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So, being that these 3 huge movies are coming out, I'm very excited to make sure I go see those in the theater.
Yeah.
I did get to see Green Lantern in the theater.
Yay!
Yeah. That did not help the movie experience whatsoever. Granted, there were only like 6 people in the theater too, but
they were sleeping.
Yeah.
Well, have you seen it since before you watched it again for this episode? Had you watched it again a second time?
I think I've seen it one more time, so I think this is my third possibly viewing? Fourth, but I think it was my 3rd time.
Okay. I think I saw it 3 times in the theater.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, I'm curious, because you really enjoyed it the first time I showed it.
Yes.
We watched it. Do you still enjoy it as much as you did that first time?
Yes, I do.
But I feel there's a but coming. I can
tell.
I
told Justin before we started that I might surprise him. So he's digging for this.
Yeah, I am. I'm wondering what's going on. Because before you start, let me say, when I watch this film, I can't help but think about seeing it in the theater for the first time and how much I enjoyed it.
Right.
Like,
so, okay.
The lines that are funny, there's so much humor in this film, and the lines that make me laugh, I just feel like they still make me laugh because I remember how funny they were the first time I saw it and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I hadn't watched the Avengers in a little while, and so rewatching it today for the podcast, like I just couldn't. I was like, man, I forgot how much I really like this movie. It's really entertaining, and so I am very curious to hear what your comments are about it.
All right, I'll just go ahead and say this. I'd say there's an overwhelming majority of people that say that this is the best superhero movie that's ever been made. I don't think I can agree with that.
Okay.
However, the movie is amazing. It's really good. There are a lot of things, nitpicky things, that I don't like about just the way some shots were or situations were executed.
Okay.
Very minor things. The other thing that I've noticed is bringing up Spider-Man 2 again and the movie-going experience, and maybe it has something to do with that, I don't know. But when I saw Spider-Man 2, I knew and felt that was the best superhero movie I'd ever seen, and I didn't know how it would ever get any better.
Yeah.
Avengers, I did not see in the theater. Reiterating again. And it was great. I loved seeing the heroes come together. But first things first, the trailer for me for the Avengers, I was always a little wary about it. It just felt like I was excited to see the Avengers, but I was like, it felt a little overhyped to me.
Okay.
And when I saw the movie, and this was the first time too, I felt like I didn't get that same feeling as I did from Spider-Man 2, where I was like, nothing could ever outdo that.
Sure.
I saw the potential with the Avengers, and I really liked what they put out there, but I was almost like, you guys didn't step out all the way. I felt like you held back a little bit, which is fine because you had a sequel coming. But I was more intrigued with the Avengers about what was to come.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, the Avengers Age of Ultron trailer I love, and I am super stoked about this movie. So, I'm excited.
Do you still hold Spider-Man 2 as the best superhero / comic book movie ever made, in your opinion?
Probably not, and also maybe. I'd really have to think about it. If it's not, it'd probably be number 2. I'd have to really think.
Yeah. It's definitely in my top 5. I don't know what my 5 would be, but I can understand the argument that this would be the best comic book / superhero movie ever made. It's not number 1 in my book. Number 1 in my book would probably be The Dark Knight.
I'm excluding that.
Okay, well, if you exclude The Dark Knight, this might be number 1 for me. The Dark Knight is it's a comic book movie, superhero movie, obviously.
Uh-huh.
But they tried to ground it in reality so much that, nobody in that universe has superpowers or anything.
Right. It's almost like a branch off to
right,
itself.
Exactly.
It's attached, but it's like, it's not really with these guys.
It's almost like I don't really consider it a superhero movie. Like, I do consider it a comic book movie, but it's...
Right.
And Batman is a superhero, by all means.
I agree.
But, like,
he is.
It's... Because it's so real-world, grounded or whatever, this, I think, is definitely more... This is a comic book brought to life, The Avengers. Whereas Batman was a comic book adaptation.
Right.
If this isn't making any sense, this is like... They took the characters and the powers and the images like straight out of the comic and put it on screen. That's what the Avengers feels like to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I really do think I really wish you had been able to see it in the theater for like a midnight showing with people who all were really excited to see it, because I think it might have changed your opinion on it a little bit. Maybe not so much to knock Spider-Man 2 out of its place or anything like that, but like seeing that scene where Loki has those people on their knees, and then Captain America shows up, and then Iron Man shows up, and seeing that shot with Iron Man and Captain America in the same frame for the first time, I couldn't help but smile, because it was the first time we'd seen 2 superhero movies from separate films come into the same movie together, and it really was kind of a milestone. I think I thought it was amazing.
Yeah. And
then Thor shows up, and then you got the Hulk and everything. And so it was just,
this was the first time, that's a big milestone that I give this movie.
Yeah.
When I saw the Hulk in this movie, this was the first time I was like, wow, he is a cool character. When he started leaping from the buildings, I was just like, why haven't they done this before? And I guess they kind of tried to do that maybe with the Incredible Hulk. I can't remember. I've only seen it once, and it was a while ago. But to do what they did with him in this movie was like, I was like, he's awesome.
Joss Whedon really, I think, understood the Hulk and knew exactly what to do with the Hulk. And I've always been an Incredible Hulk fan. I used to love the Incredible Hulk TV show when I was a kid. I'd watch reruns of it all the time. There was an Incredible Hulk animated show I think I probably watched from time to time. I had Incredible Hulk action figures. I was always an Incredible Hulk fan, and I was really happy to see that like the Hulk was kind of a fan favorite this time around. People really enjoyed his character in this film, and I thought that was really nice to see finally. And it made me wonder if just maybe the Incredible Hulk just doesn't having his own film, because they had 2 films of Hulk and both of them didn't really do well. And so it made me wonder if he just works better as part of an ensemble like this rather than having his own film.
Right.
And so I'm also really excited to see, the Hulk again in Ultron.
No, they're doing Planet Hulk, right?
The movie?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Maybe, but it's not. Marvel hasn't announced that as one of their movies that they're releasing out of their Phase 3 lineup and everything, Unless it's going to be a Phase 4 thing, but as far as I know, I don't think they're doing that.
I was thinking that one of the movies, maybe it's not named Planet Hulk, but has that storyline, but maybe not. Because I was thinking it could be Thor 3.
Thor 3 is called Thor Ragnarok. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's going to be part of it, but I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't think so.
That was a good story. I would like to see that as a movie, as a Hulk movie.
Yeah, it was fun seeing the Hulk fight Thor in this film. I loved seeing the Hulk try to pick up the hammer and not being able to do it.
Well, I was going to say real quick, I do know that there's an animated Planet Hulk, by the way. I've seen it.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
I'm talking about a live adaptation.
Yeah.
Continue about him picking up the hammer. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved seeing Thor fight the Hulk in this film, and so I had actually forgotten about that scene. That's how long it had, or I guess I don't know. It's been over a year, maybe even 2 years since I watched this film, and seeing Thor fight the Hulk was a lot of fun. It made me think about the scene. I feel like we're just basically doing a weird preview for Age of Ultron, but you see the Hulk Buster Iron Man suit fighting the Hulk in the trailers for the new Avengers. It's gonna be fun to see that fight scene too. I think.
Yes, it will. Speaking of which, speaking of fighting, the Tesseract, or no, it wasn't the Tesseract. It was actually Loki's
scepter.
Scepter, yes. It's like on display, or it's being held up on a table, and you've got like Nick Fury and all the Avengers around, and they start arguing.
Yeah.
Do you think was that because of Loki's scepter? Or
I'm not sure. Especially because Banner grabs it.
Right, but then I was thinking, well, is he just getting angry? And he's like grabbing for a weapon? But yeah, why would the Hulk grab a weapon?
Right, and he didn't realize that he was grabbing it either. Because they were like, put the scepter down, and he like kind of seemed surprised that he was holding it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there was some sort of trick going on there with the scepter or not. They definitely focus on the scepter, like when you are...
Exactly. That's what makes you think
when they're arguing and the camera's kind of going around, it ends on the scepter.
Right.
So it does have some sort of... It definitely has, and then it cuts to the next shot and you see the scepter and like the homing beacon for Hawkeye when he's under the spell or whatever. So I don't know if it was just a weird cut to show us that Hawkeye was looking for the scepter. It was, providing some sort of homing beacon, or if it really is kind of getting into the minds of certain people.
Right.
I'm not sure.
I do love, though, however, when Hawkeye shoots the arrow and blows up part of the ship.
Yeah.
That Captain America says, "Suit up." And he's like...
Yeah. Well, he's arguing with... Yeah, he's arguing with
because they were
Tony
arguing
at
at first, and it was like,
he's
let's
like, why don't
fight.
you go suit up?
Yeah.
Why don't you go suit up, and then we'll see who's a real big man. And then it gets blown up, and he's like, you should go suit up.
He's like,
yeah, it's just,
that's
Joss Whedon
I love
does a really good job writing in this film.
Yeah, they were fighting, and then all of a sudden, it just shows these guys, they can come together.
Yeah.
At the right time. And this was the first, that's what was interesting, too, is this is the first time they'd ever fought. So they had just been in an argument, and then all of a sudden, they've got the team, which I'm fine with. I liked that. That was cool. Yeah. Because it shows how talented they are.
Right, and I really liked the dynamic between everybody and how they don't necessarily get along at first. When like Thor first shows up and Iron Man tries to fight Thor because he thinks Thor is going to ruin their plans, and then Captain America comes and tries to stop it. Like, it really was... It's nice that they weren't just like, hey, we should be a team. Avengers, go! And go right from the bat. But, so, like, it really, made sense. And I really liked the way, even though nobody... It feels less... It has less of an impact now that the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show is on TV. But, when... Spoiler alert, by the way, for anybody who hasn't seen Avengers. But when Loki stabbed Coulson, and Coulson, is on the ground, he's, like, dying... everybody in the theater, it's funny how like Coulson became kind of a fan favorite too. He was everybody liked Agent Coulson, and so when he got stabbed, I remember the whole theater was like, no, like pretty much,
yeah.
And but it made a lot of sense within the context of the movie that they needed that to happen almost to really kind of band together even more to really kind of become that team. So yeah, I thought Joss Whedon did an excellent job writing this movie, and
I'm a big fan of Firefly.
Oh yeah,
he's
me
able
too.
to write.
And Buffy, I really enjoyed Buffy when I was younger. Yeah,
I never watched Buffy. I don't know if I could get into that, but he's able to take groups of people and make them one entity.
Yeah,
and separate at the same time.
Right.
He's done that. He's done that over and over. So,
and he also he knows his comic books too. He's a comic book lover. He knows the comic book characters for the Avengers and everything. So, he was the perfect man for the job.
I agree with that.
I remember when they announced that he was going to direct the Avengers. There was some skepticism I saw online because some people weren't necessarily a huge fan of his directing, and I wonder if you maybe kind of feel the same way a little bit with your nitpicky shots and stuff that you said you didn't like or the way some scenes were executed. And so, but I never really had a problem with anything, and there's only, I don't really remember any specific shots or scenes in this that I didn't care for.
I do.
Well, let's talk.
You want me to go? No, I mean,
Yeah,
it's just simple
sure.
things like when Black Widow jumps off the side of the building, and oh wait, no, it wasn't Black Widow. It was Loki. Loki jumps off the side of a building or rolls off the side of a building and perfectly on. Now, granted, he is a demigod, so maybe he sensed it coming. When Black Widow gets launched up from Captain America onto one of those pods, it's like I didn't buy that. There are other ones I can't think, but every time I felt the ding in my alertness, I'm like, I didn't like it. And that happened more times than I liked. But it didn't take away
I bought it all.
Huh?
I'm just kidding. I said I bought it all.
Nice. I wish they had done more with Hawkeye and what's his name? Jeremy Renner?
Yeah.
I've seen him in other movies and I like his acting, but I felt like he fell really flat in this. And I don't know if it's his fault, not knowing what to do with the character, because I felt like he could have given it some more energy, and maybe it was just the way he was directed, but I can't see Josh Whedon directing him like that. And I just felt like Hawkeye's character was kind of lame.
Well, I think one person who might agree with you is Jeremy Renner. Because I read somewhere that he
I've read that too.
Got in trouble or something because he was like, I didn't do anything in the Avengers movie.
Right.
And because he was kind of bummed that he, gets to be Hawkeye and then spends most of the movie under Loki's spell.
It wasn't really most of the movie, though, because I was watching out for that. And I was like, it's maybe half.
Maybe half. Maybe a little less than
maybe half. And in what he did with what he had when he wasn't under Loki, I just felt like it was kind of flavorless.
Yeah.
He was kind of forgettable.
I would say
and that's a consensus, whether people know it or not, because you don't see pictures of Hawkeye anywhere.
No.
He's a forgotten character.
He's really and I would agree with that. He's the one character that I think you could cut out of the movie. I mean, he's needed for if you think about the plot the way it is right now, he's needed because he's the one that breaks into the helicarrier, and sets the Hulk going during that whole scene and everything too. So you need him for that stuff. But he's the one Avenger, I guess you could say, that could be cut out and you really probably wouldn't miss.
Right, and a big question is it because he doesn't have a flashy outfit?
Or he's just kind of got... I mean, it's not a lame superpower, but he's just really good with a bow and arrow.
Right.
I don't know. There's actually... I saw a clip for the new movie where there's a TV spot and it shows him talking to somebody and he's like, he's like, what was the line? It was something like, we're being attacked by an army of robots. And he goes, and I've got a bow and arrow. He was like, I'm going to be useless during this scene or during this fight. So I thought that was kind of funny that they pointed that out.
What did you think about him being able to turn off the hovercraft with an arrow? He was like, he shot an arrow, and then these two things come out, plug in the perfect inputs for it that are... I mean, he made the arrow for it, but is he hacked the system with that. That was another one I did not like.
That I was fine with because that's like Hawkeye's power. His power is he's got impeccable aim, I guess, or whatever. He's kind of almost like Bullseye,
right? But
with a bow and arrow.
But how did he know about these inputs?
Well, he's worked with S.H.I.E.L.D. for forever. I don't know.
He's not IT.
But maybe he is. Maybe he's IT when he's not shooting bow and arrows. You don't know. No, I get it. I understand that that kind of nitpicky complaint. But again, I went with it. I was okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Hawkeye does, man. He doesn't even have to look. He's on top of that building. He's not even looking, and he's hitting people with those arrows.
Yeah.
No,
I think hopefully they can do something, a lot cooler with them.
My nitpicky complaint I guess my one nitpicky complaint is I would like to get away from this whole thing where when you blow up the mothership or whatever you want to, the main thing.
That did not make sense.
All the, like in Star Wars, what was it, Episode 1?
That makes sense.
It kind of makes sense because those are droids.
Yes.
But in this, it makes zero sense. Like, why are these aliens connected to the mothership? Like, when they started falling over, even when I saw it the first time, I was kind of like, that's kind of a cop-out. That's how it felt like to me anyway.
Right.
And so I don't like that part. I wish that you blow up the mothership, you close the portal, and then you just deal with the rest of the aliens.
Right.
And at that point, the movie is the movie was like 2 hours and 20-something minutes, so I understand from a time perspective how you would maybe want to have that happen just because you don't want to. We've already seen like a 30-minute fight scene. You don't want to have to drag it out even more. Mm-hmm. But you could have most of the aliens be defeated before you close the portal, and you just got to fight off.
You could have had them when the mothership exploded. You could have had them like warp back to their dimension. Like maybe there was something keeping them in that area on the mothership.
Anything rather than just falling over.
That's
and
one
being
thing.
Like power down.
Right.
I agree.
So,
who's your favorite Avenger?
That's a good question. It's probably going to have to be between. I'm leaning towards Thor.
Yeah, you know what? I never liked Thor when I was reading comic books and stuff, and I never really gave him a chance. In this movie, my favorite Avenger is either Thor or the Hulk. I really like both of them, and they both got some really great moments in this film. And the Hulk especially, man, when he punches Thor and then when he's throwing Loki around, like, he had some of the greatest moments.
Speaking of him, yes, that scene was amazing, him smashing Loki. Why did he walk away? Why did he not grab Loki and say, or first of all, the Hulk.
Yeah.
He's able to think and react.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Well, he speaks.
He does speak. And he listens to Captain America's orders when he says, Hulk, smash.
Right, exactly. And then he
grins
smiles.
And he goes and smashes. Yeah, which was awesome.
So I don't understand why he stopped doing what he was doing to Loki and just walk away.
I guess he didn't. I don't know if he could kill him anyway, but he was just trying to shut him up, I think. And so he shut him up, and he was like, "I'm better than you. Shut up."
No, he had sounds coming out of his windpipe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It was great.
Even the could have been very comical shot of where it was like Steadicam going around the Avengers.
Yeah, I paid attention to that this time because you told me to earlier.
I pointed it out, yeah.
It wasn't too bad.
It really works, actually.
Yeah.
I think it works fine. And the music is doing, it's like the Avengers theme is going on right there and everything. It gets you excited.
Yeah.
There was another moment I was going to talk about where it was, one of the things, here's one of my reasons I skip trailers sometimes, is for this film, I don't think I avoided any trailers. And one of the big final moments of the movie, I knew was about to happen because I'd seen it in the trailer, and I really wish I hadn't seen it. And that was when Iron Man is falling from the sky. He'd just blown up the mothership or whatever, and he just made it before the portal closes, and he's falling down, the sky towards New York City, and they see him and they're like, he's not. I can't remember what they say, but they basically say, he's not waking up or something, And they're like, they think they're gonna have to go catch him, and so I can't remember. I think maybe Thor starts swinging his hammer, and then it cuts. You see Iron Man falling, and then from off screen you see Hulk jumping and catches him,
right,
and like slams into the building and jumps down, and that I think would have been a little bit more edge of your seat, nail biting. Oh goodness, he's gonna, is he gonna wake up? Had it not been in the trailer, they show the catch. Hulk catching Iron Man in the trailer.
Right.
And so that's just, for me, that's a prime example of movies showing too much in the trailer.
Right.
Like, leave some mystery to...
Apparently, directors don't have control over trailers, is what I've heard.
I don't know for a fact, but I think some do, some don't. I know, like, for example, I think... It seems to me like Zack Snyder probably has some control over the Batman vs. Superman trailer.
He probably does, because I think he's pretty high up with Warner Brothers anyway.
Right. I know people like Paul Thomas Anderson.
And Josh Whedon probably is at this point.
Probably.
With Marvel.
Although it seems like... And maybe Joss Whedon doesn't care, but it seems like there's been so much Age of Ultron previews and TV spots and featurettes and clips that have been released online. I'm like, I feel like I could see the whole movie
right
on YouTube right now if I wanted to. And so there's part of me that wants to be like, simmer down. People are going to see this movie anyway. You don't need to show us everything before we get into the theater. Like today, I saw that they released a clip of Vision, like the first. Clip of Vision is online now, and I was like, I'm gonna see the movie next week. Stop releasing clips. So anyway, I don't know, and maybe, like I said, maybe Joss Whedon's okay with that, and he just keeps giving stuff out. But I know Paul Thomas Anderson, he made his own trailer for Inherent Vice. He edited it himself, so I think he's got some control over it. And I know it's probably something in their contract. I bet directors after so long probably get tired of marketing people putting too much in the trailers and stuff, and they put that they want to have input or what's the word I'm looking for? The ability to say yes or no, to certain things. So like Christopher Nolan, I'm pretty sure probably has control over his trailers. I would assume at this point. Yeah. And he's also way up there with Warner Brothers because everything he's done is done really well, I think. So I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but I would say it's some do, some don't. That's probably that's my answer. And when Avengers 1 came out, maybe Joss Whedon didn't have that control, and so that stuff got in the trailer.
I doubt he did, because that was his first movie with them. So
this is his first movie with Marvel, sure, yeah. And so, I don't know. But if I was a director and if I was the director of this film and I saw that in the trailer, I'd have been like,
"Can you explain?
Come on."
Speaking of the Hulk and his ability to jump and land, can you explain to me why that guy was not freaked out that he saw this green giant come falling out of the sky, land, turn into a regular man, and he lived?
The old guy, Harry Dean Stanton.
Yes.
Well, he asked him if he was an alien, so I think he was...
but he's just so nonchalant about it.
Well, maybe he's an alien believer, and he was like, I finally saw one.
Maybe he's an alien.
I don't know.
He's like,
maybe he's an alien.
like me?
Oh. Hey, he was in the movie Alien.
Was he?
He was. Harry Dean Stanton. He was one of the... I forget his character name, but he was in the original Alien. So,
that's a movie we will need to do sometime.
I just rewatched the quadrilogy, if you will. That's what they call it on the box. But I just watched all 4 of them not that long ago. It was before I went home for Christmas, so it was probably 7 or 8 months ago. But great first 2 films.
Yeah, I like they are. I think my favorite is Resurrection.
Alien Resurrection is your favorite?
Yeah. I'm joking.
Yeah.
I saw that when I saw it in the theater, and I was so excited. It was my first movie or alien movie to see in there. I remember seeing the Alien 3 advertisements being in the theater.
Yeah, back in like 91, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, Resurrection was a big disappointment. Yeah, the first two, great. What about...
You know who wrote Alien Resurrection?
Oh, I don't remember, but I know that it's someone I know, and I was shocked, and I can't remember who it was.
Joss Whedon.
It was!
But I've heard that, Joss Whedon has explained that even though, like, the way he wrote it, he said they did everything, like, not the way he imagined it. He basically said he kind of did it, with, a kind of a tongue-in-cheek type thing, and they did the movie, like, very seriously. Some people were saying Joss Whedon's script was not the same movie that showed up on screen.
Okay.
And he's basically said, he's like, they shot what I wrote, but they did it wrong. And I think he was going to try to make it a little bit more lighthearted and almost more of like not a comedy, but like not to be taken so seriously. And they did everything. He just said the way they were delivering lines was wrong, and the way they shot things was wrong. It was just not the movie the way he meant for it to be made, I guess.
Okay.
That being said, I really don't even know if the way he would have directed it, maybe, I don't know if that would have worked or if it would have been better. Because all three, the first three were so serious.
I'm sure
I don't know if having a tongue-in-cheek alien movie would have been good or bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not the best movie on Joss Whedon's resume, but I can still watch it. It's just not very good. And I've actually heard that the director's cut of David Fincher's... Well, it's not the director's cut, because he wants nothing to do with it. But it's like the extended version or something of Alien 3 is actually better.
Really?
Yeah, I've heard that... Because David Fincher apparently had such a hard time making that movie. He had to fight so many battles that he refuses to do like a commentary for it. He refuses to do a direct... when they were doing it must have been like 2003 or something, when that quadrilogy came out on DVD. They were doing special editions of each movie, and they asked him to come back and recut it the way he wanted to make it and all that stuff, and he refused. He was like, I don't want that. He's like, I'm done with that movie. I don't want to have anything to do with it. And so they put together like an extended version, but they can't call it a director's cut because he doesn't want anything to do with the movie. So, but I've heard that the extended cut is closer to what he was probably going for, and it is a better film.
Okay.
So I haven't watched it yet, but I would like to one day. I have it on Blu-ray now.
Alien Resurrection is not the worst Alien movie.
Well, I wasn't even counting Alien vs. Predator.
Right.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
The PG-13 Alien vs. Predator?
Yeah.
Horrible. How did we get on the? I don't. We've gotten off topic a little bit. We're talking about the Alien films instead of Avengers.
Whoops.
But yeah, no, I would agree with you. Alien. I would watch Alien Resurrection any day over Alien vs. Predator.
Mm-hmm. At least it has.
I guess we'll have to talk about those movies.
Sigourney Weaver in it.
Right. Well, hey, do you know they're making a new one with Sigourney Weaver? I guess is going to be in it, and Neil Blomkamp, the guy that did Chappie and Elysium and District 9. They're going to do a new Alien movie. Yeah.
It's Alien. It's not. It's not. Oh God.
Prometheus.
Yeah.
No, because Prometheus. They're making a Prometheus 2. Ridley Scott is directing that, I think.
Nice,
Ridley Scott
because I really liked Prometheus.
Really? You really liked Prometheus?
I really liked Prometheus, yes.
Huh, interesting. We'll have to do a podcast on that film, too.
Okay.
And Ridley Scott is producing this new Alien film that is being directed by Neil Blomkamp. I have no idea what the title of the movie is or anything, but supposedly it is in the works. Sigourney Weaver, I think, is signed on. They're going to make the movie. So, we shall see. And from what I understand, it's going to be kind of Superman Returns-ish in the only sense that they're kind of, I think, ignoring part 3 and 4 as if part 3 and 4 didn't happen. I think is a sequel to Aliens. I could be wrong about that, but that's, I think, what I've read.
Interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, back to Avengers. I think we've talked about most of the film, about what we liked and didn't like. Did you have any other notes on the movie that we haven't talked about?
Couple things.
Sure.
Thor, when he's in the containment thing.
That's falling to the sky, or falling to the ground?
Correct. He hits it with his hammer, and it cracks the glass.
Yes.
Why does he stop?
Because when he hit it, because I think the way that thing is designed is to be, because it was originally designed to hold the Hulk. And so I think the design of it is if he were to pound on the window or on the glass too much, it is designed to release itself and fall. So when he hit it with the hammer, it cracked, and you saw one of the grips or whatever holding onto the chamber, like, loosen, like it came out a little bit. And so I think he didn't want it to fall, which is why he stopped hitting on it. I
didn't pick up on that, so
it doesn't quite make sense, because I don't think Loki has opened up the door, the trap door, the floor, if you will. Mm-hmm. Like, that isn't open yet, so I feel like if it were to fall, it would just go cling, like fall right there on the little hole. And then, of course, Loki could have hit and it opened it and it would have fallen. But I wonder if maybe it kept hitting it if when they released, the floor automatically opens and he falls. I don't know, but that's why I thought he stopped hitting it, was because that one lever grip thing loosened its grip a little bit.
Okay.
What do you think about the score for this film?
It's good. Yeah. I like it. I recognized it rewatching it.
Uh-huh.
It's not one that's resonated in my memory very much.
Sure.
I can hear it now in my head since I just watched it. But and I think when I hear it in Age of Ultron, it's going to be really cool to hear. Well, I'm
curious if we are going to hear it in Age of Ultron, because Alan Silvestri did this score, who also did Captain America: The First Avenger.
Uh-huh.
But he is not scoring Ultron. It's Danny Elfman and somebody else.
What?
Yeah.
Danny Elfman.
Yeah. So we might not get
exciting.
The same theme.
I'm kind of hoping we don't, actually. Nothing against the Avengers theme, but I'd really like to hear what Danny Elfman has in mind.
Yeah, I'm really curious to hear it too. So we'll talk about it in the next episode when we have seen the film. But yeah, no, I really like this score. I actually bought this sound. I thought the same thing, I think, when I saw it the first time. I was like, yeah, the music's good, but it's not that memorable. And then I bought the score off of iTunes, I think, and I listened to it in my car. And now I think it is pretty memorable. I think the Avengers theme is pretty good, and I like it when I hear it. And so, and I can, every now and again it'll kind of get in my head, and I'll think about it. But
it's got a hero tone to it.
It does. It definitely does. And so I think he did a great job with it.
Yeah.
I agree. One of the standout performances, I think, of the movie is would have to be Tom Hiddleston as Loki. He
was great.
I didn't have any problem with him or anything in Thor, but he didn't really stand out as much as he does in this movie. And again, I think that's also partially Joss Whedon's writing. He really knew what to do with Loki again,
Yeah.
And I think when I saw this movie, there was a couple of times where I won't say he was overacting. He was really just kind of chewing up the scenery, which was perfect for the scene and everything. Like, it worked really well. And I remember thinking to myself, if we were in like an alternate universe, he could play a great Joker, I think. I think he would be really... He's got the face for it and the build. Like, there's a scene where when the Hulk first starts hulking out on the helicarrier, it cuts to Loki and he hears it and he looks up and he smiles, and I was like, that's the Joker. I saw it right then. Mm-hmm. So I really think Tom Hiddleston could have played a really decent Joker in a different universe, different world. But since he's played Loki, I don't think anybody would ever... I mean, I'm sure there's people out there who would want him to play Joker, but I just don't think that would ever happen because of the fact that he's been playing Loki. Yeah. And the fact that we're already getting a new Joker with Jared Leto.
Yep. Yeah, I liked his performance. I thought it translated well from Thor to this. I felt like it was the same character.
Yeah.
And I disagree about you saying he didn't stick out in Thor. I thought he did. I definitely liked him. I'm not saying you didn't say you didn't like him.
No, yeah, and
Thor.
I think when I walked away from Thor, I remember thinking like, wow, Thor was a really good movie. I really liked
Right.
Thor. I didn't really think like, man, I want to see more of Loki.
Exactly.
You know? But
That
I
is
thought he
true.
did a great job, yeah. But I didn't really be like with this film. I was like, man, Loki was awesome. And
Yeah.
I kind of like, and you know, I didn't necessarily think I want to see more of him. But I remember when I saw the trailer for Thor 2, when you see him in the cage or in the jail cell or whatever. I remember being like, nice. Like I was happy that we're getting more Loki in Thor 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, he did a great job in this movie.
Yeah. I liked when you were talking about comedy parts in the theater. I can only imagine when Hawkeye, he was on the pod, the like hover alien pod thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Loki, and Hawkeye shoots the arrow.
Yeah,
and he catches it. And I love the shot of that because it's like it follows the arrow, and you don't know who he's shooting at, and and the camera follows the arrow into his hand, and you're like, oh, it's Loki. And then he's just, you can see the smugness in his face, like, petty humans. And then it just blows up in his face and it goes flying. That
it was perfect.
Awesome. Yeah,
perfect.
Love that scene. Yeah, I don't have anything else to add.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm sure I'll think of something when we get done with when we stop recording, because that happens every week.
Yeah, I just thought of something.
Okay, all right.
I wanted to talk about Mark Ruffalo. Awesome.
I've been a fan of Mark Ruffalo for quite some time.
That's what I was going to say. The first movie I remember seeing him in was Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. And I looked out for him after that.
Yeah.
And when he got cast as Bruce Banner, I was pretty happy. And seeing him, he definitely delivered. Absolutely.
There was a time where Mark Ruffalo, I think, was one of my... Well, he still is one of my favorite actors, but he was like maybe my favorite actor for a brief period of time. And it was right around that time with Eternal Sunshine. First time I kind of took notice of Mark Ruffalo was in the movie Collateral, which was around the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them came out in
Collateral was
2004,
after?
Was it?
Yep. Because that was the next movie I saw him in. And he was awesome in that, too.
I could have sworn I knew who he was, though, when Eternal Sunshine came. And it doesn't matter. Anyway, the point is, he's an amazing actor. And I do kind of wish that we could have seen the Edward Norton, just for continuity's sake. You know, we have the Edward Norton Incredible Hulk movie. It would have been kind of nice to be able to tie all those movies together. Because as it stands right now, the Incredible Hulk movie doesn't really feel like it's part of the Marvel Universe. Because it has that separate cast and all that. But when they announced that Mark Ruffalo was going to take over for Edward Norton, I was like, that's perfect. I couldn't be happier with that casting. And he did an amazing job in this movie, and I can't wait to see him in the next one. And so yeah, it would have. Even though there's a small part of me that kind of wishes we could have seen Edward Norton, I really think getting Mark Ruffalo to replace him was the perfect decision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed.
Well, I'm very curious as to what your grade is for this film, John, because, with your few very minor complaints about the film, I am wondering how many stars?
Well, I know what you're going to rate it. That's easy. Before we started the podcast, I was going to say a number. And I'm debating now about raising it because it was very enjoyable movie. It is one of the best superhero movies out there. I think I might actually like some of the Marvel standalone ones better. It's debatable. Like the two I would think of would be the original Iron Man, and I'm including I'm talking about Avengers universe here.
Sure.
And maybe Thor, but I don't think I can say Thor was a better movie than the Avengers. Iron Man, simply because of the impact it had and how it just came out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And Robert Downey Jr.'s performance in that was just insane.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it, I wish I could give 3/4 of a star. I'll give it
Well, while you're thinking, I'll go ahead and give you my... I'm very tempted to give this movie an A+, because I love it so much. Mm-hmm. But I'm not going to.
Really?
I think I'm going to save my A+ for some other films that we have yet to talk about. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give this an A. And kind of try to be... I'm going to try to not give out... I mean, like, I think when we talked about Back to the Future, I gave that an A+. And so there are going to be some you know... classic kind of nostalgia movies that I can't help but give A+ to, but for I don't want to give away too many A+, so I'm gonna try to only give away those to the film.
But if it deserves an A+, then it deserves an A+.
Right, and I you know, and like I said, I really am tempted to give this one an A+ because I feel like it does perhaps deserve it, but I also feel like maybe not quite. Mm-hmm. So I'm just gonna stick with an A. I'm gonna give it an A.
I'm going to give it my original rating, and I'm going to say 4 out of 5 stars. I was really thinking about giving it 4.5 because, as we talked about it, I realized how fun the movie was. That even though I felt like there was enough missing from it that I noticed it, and it slightly bothered me.
Sure,
but it was still a great movie. But 4 out of 5 stars.
Yeah. Next week when we talk about, or not next week, but next episode when we talk about Avengers Age of Ultron, I'll probably be, you know, unless that movie just does not work or something, I'm probably going to be really loving on that movie, and I wouldn't be surprised if I end up giving that one an A+ or something. But we'll see, I guess, when that movie comes out. Well, we'd love to hear what you think about the Avengers. Let us know. You can comment on cinemaheroes.com. You can also go to facebook.com/SM and SM podcast. Or you can send us a line on Twitter @CinemaHeroes. I tend to neglect that Twitter account, but I do check it. I get the notifications, so feel free to send me tweets. With that being said, I guess that about wraps it up for this episode. I'm Justin Speck.
I'm John Pelzo.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. Avengers Assemble. I don't know.